audience Landon Vogler, Bryce Myers, Logan Haggard, Jake Franz, and Tyler.
The days of not believing in climate change are over. COVID may have crashed the global economy, but it certainly did not stop us from dumping record amounts of greenhouse gases into our atmosphere. Modern ways of living are destroying our world. I will be going over the biggest contributors to climate change, what will happen if we continue down this path, as well as what we can do to avoid it from happening. Even with something as complex as climate change, it is possible to show the roots of problems through a picture. This is a picture of Muir Glacier in 2016. This was Muir Glacier just 80 years ago. The destruction of this glacier is caused by climate change and the rise of temperatures around the world. Climate change is usually a natural cycle that repeats itself about every several thousand years, but the rate at which things are warming up is much too quick. The unordinary change in temperature is producing an change in temperature is due to the abundance of carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide we are producing. These elements contribute to a phenomenon called the greenhouse effect, which causes our atmosphere to trap more of the sun's heat. In 2017, it was reported that we produced more than 36 billion tons of carbon dioxide, with Asia coming in at the top with 53%, in the US and the European Union coming in behind with 17 and 18%. Without the willingness of these three industrial areas, we won't be able to become carbon neutral and will possibly do irreversible damage. However, this is not the only, if this is the only data you're looking at, you're not getting the full picture. It is true that Asia contributes the most to global warming, but they have the largest population. If we want to look at individuals that contribute the most, then Australians take the cake with nearly 17 tons per person annually, with Americans coming in close second with 16 tons. This can be traced back to standard of living. Wealth is one of the strongest indicators of a high carbon footprint. This is because as you increase in wealth, your access to things such as electricity, heating, air conditioning, and transportation become easier. The harsh reality is that people who contribute the least to climate change get hit the hardest. For instance, people in Niger, Africa, contribute as much as an American does in only 2 days. All in all, climate change is a global problem no one person can fix, but everyone must participate if we want to make a difference. If we continue to live like this, we will suffer the consequences. Some of our biggest problems are the rising sea levels and global warming. Recent measurements have shown that from 1920, sea levels have risen a total of about 8 inches, and 3 of those are since the year 2000. Most of this has been traced back to melting glaciers. The ice cover in the Arctic has declined annually by more than 17,000 square miles. To put that in perspective, that is twice the size of New Hampshire every year. However, the Arctic ice cap is not the only thing we should be worrying about. The summer ice melt of Greenland's ice sheet has gone up by about 30%, reaching new records in 2007. James Hansen, a professor and director of the Program on Climate Change Science and Awareness Solutions, calculated that Greenland's ice sheet could possibly be melted by the year 2100. This could raise today's sea levels by about 23 feet. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but 6.5 feet could affect over 400 million people. The paper Nature Communication says that over 267 million people live under 6 feet of elevation, affecting cities like New York, New Orleans, and Miami. Another way our society will be affected is by global warming. A common misconception is that global warming will cause less precipitation and longer summers, or people assume that because it still snows, global warming can't be real. Unfortunately, this is far from the truth. It's not going to cause warm weather, it's going to cause more extreme weather. Those once in a 100-year storms are happening every year now. Wildfires are ravaging our forests, droughts are becoming longer, and hurricanes are actually getting bigger. Global temperatures have risen sharply in the last 100 years, causing warmer air. This warmer air can hold more water vapor. So when storms ramp up and get ready to release water vapor in the form of snow and rain, it has more to draw upon, leading to more and heavier rainfall than today's average. You have probably heard the term "go green" many times. This is something simple and effective anyone can do. It can range from things as simple as not using your dryer to dry your clothes and hanging them on a rack, or installing solar panels so you can lower your carbon footprint. It doesn't seem like much, but every little thing helps. In conclusion, the way we live our life is not sustainable in the long run. We will ruin massive cities and leave undesirable conditions for future generations. However, if everyone does their part, we can make a difference or reverse what we have already done, leaving our future selves with better lives.